Morgen zusammen!
Good morning, everyone. It's great to have you here. Welcome to Healthy People Only on a Healthy Earth. My name is Hirschhausen. I'm a doctor. I want to treat you well. I'm a little bit nervous. And I hope that all of you are going out of the session with one great idea and maybe spreads it around. Because this Republica is a great opportunity to share ideas and promote them. And that's what we need. I'm happy to have been invited and have the opportunity to talk here. When I saw the motto, I thought, what's this about the World Health Organization? But then I thought, wow, timing. Exactly right. Karl Lauterbach yesterday told us that we suddenly have 7 times as many care cases as we had planned for, and proposed the stationary ambulant care, which doesn't exist yet. And then I thought, well, this looks like what we're doing for the water service here. You're standing, but you're also walking a little bit. Then we had Annalena Baerbock here yesterday, who said this program is really well curated. You're always worried about missing something. Because I have ADHD and FOMO, so I'm going to show you lots of slides that are not normally in this talk, so you don't get bored because you say, oh, I already know what you're going to say. So not all the things that happen here are as well visited as maybe people would like. How boring is it if not even the people that are supposed to work at the booth are actually interested in it? But of course we have the big topics here at Republica. I don't know if you've seen this colorful gate. That quote above says, do we need more state acts in climate protection? And it's translated as, is climate change only stoppable by law and control? That's yeah, maybe a little bit different. Maybe there's bots involved here. It reminds us a little bit about the paint attack on the Brandenburg Gate, other people that have asked questions in this republic. And if you walk through this gate on the right, you say no. If you say yes, you're left. And if you go from the other side, it's vice versa. So I think maybe it's time for some indigenous wisdom here to wake you all up. Framing is everything. In this talk, I'm going to talk a lot about climate communication, and please just take what you need. There's more than enough to go around. Framing here at Friedrich Naumann Stiftung, I thought it was interesting. Lots of people maybe thought that you can only put the positive stickers, the S stickers, on the left side under the positive label, and negative had 3 times as much space. That's framing, people. And it reminds us a little bit about the ICE debate of the Conservative Party. And here they try to get people interested in this stupid robot, but everybody's just interested in the children. So I think humans still make a difference. For example, Thomas Jaschek yesterday from Volksopetza, who I met, who just lost their public benefit state. So yeah, we think that's important. Are you with us? Do I have a conflict of interest? Yes. I'm also active in not-for-profit journalism. My foundation, Healthy Earth, Healthy People, just moved into the Public's house. That was just finished in Neukölln. It's going to be a grand opening in September. Lots of cool stuff. And that has Correctiv, it has More in Common, it has Reporters Without Borders. I think it's very important. Also here, lots of people coming together in one location. And that's going to make lots of cool things happen that you cannot map in a Zoom conference, maybe. So for anyone under 50 who maybe don't know who this guy who's talking up front is, maybe ask your mom or grandma. They probably know me because I've been in the public television for the past 30 years. I founded 2 foundations, and I'm one of the founders of Scientists for Future, and I'm also an author. So if you're a bit too confused now, that's kind of the idea. Get the books if you want to control your own speed. I enjoy doing editorial documentations for WDR and ARD, the public television stations. That includes content about the pandemic and vaccinations and so on. And then there's also Knowledge Before 8, which is little knowledge bites before the news announcements. So how did it start for me? So we had politicians, all male, by the way. Christian Lindner said, oh, Fridays for Future. They don't know what they're saying. They just want to skip school. They should leave politics to the professionals. I mean, obviously, that's exactly what democracy is about. And then thousands of scientists got together and started Scientists for Future. This press conference was also famous because Rizzo quoted short pieces from that and reached 20 million people just before the European elections. So the core question isn't what do we know, but why do we refuse to believe what we know? And to visualize it, climate change isn't real, then we go straight to, okay, it's real, but it's not convinced it's caused by humans, and then we go straight into oops and fuck. And this is where we are now. We're also in the midst of an election cycle. And I don't understand a lot of the elective posters. For example, this one, Unlimited Long Life for Everyone, by the Party for Medical Youth Science Research. I would vote for them if their candidates maybe were 700 years old, but they aren't. So, you know, as a follower of evidence-based medicine, I cannot say anything but, well, we're worse than the rest of Europe as far as life expectancy goes in Germany. And we're also maybe off by a factor of 10 for social inequality. So how do you even stand this constant barrage of news? I've just taken a few screenshots from the last few days. 18 deaths and tornado in the US. Christian Stöcker, who is also going to be on a panel with me later today, talking about new narratives. And everybody's talking about how the economy has to grow, but the reality is that the climate crisis is already putting everything that we see as prosperity and wealth at risk. And that's not some left ecological radical thought. It's consultants like BCG and Deloitte and the World Economic Forum and the World Climate Risk Report who say, well, it's incredibly expensive to continue hesitating to take care of the most important pressing problems. And then I visited Maria Furtwängler, who founded the Maria Elisa Stiftung with her daughter. How many minutes of screen time did you think that private television is giving to the most important crisis of our time, the climate crisis? It's 0.2% for biological diversity and 0.8% of all minutes of private TV about the climate crisis. And from now on, I will stop talking about the climate. I was told earlier, climate change is the stupidest term we have. We should talk about the basis of our survival. And instead we talk about bicycle lanes in Peru and about nuclear waste. We talk about things and believe, oh, everybody knows this, but no, not everybody does. And that maybe is the same people that also vote for the AfD then, for the right-wing party. So as journalists and as people, we have to think about what words, which images, which metaphors we're going to use. Here is from the Süddeutsche Zeitung saying very soon a large part of the planet will be subject to environments that are ecologically without example. And there's a subheading saying deserts are, in the long term, the winners of climate change. And like, okay, great, but I'm not a desert. I'm a human. I cannot live in the desert. But also the ARD, the public broadcaster, titled the ICC report with 1.5 degrees target, almost impossible to reach. But yeah, I didn't believe in it anyway. Then we have 2 dudes. I didn't know either of them, but somehow they had time. I haven't encountered them before, even though I've been working on this for years. One of them didn't even clean up, so he turned on the Zoom blur filter. Then we have the desert. This is what winners look like, if you think back. Then we had raising sea levels. I don't live near the sea. Then we have somebody coming back from the toilet. And then the most absurd image here is the closing shot. Old white people sitting on a podium and all looking at their cell phones if they already have Wi-Fi. This is the imagery that they chose for the largest crisis that we currently have. And we wonder that maybe people aren't acting on it as they should. And then it's followed by, oh, Credit Suisse is safe. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have an account there, but I guess not everything is bad. So if you want to know more about this, Ellen Heinrich is here. And the Bad News, our Bad News session, please go listen to her. So what does that do with us and our soul? I worked as a pediatrician in children and youth psychology. I was also here at a Congress on the topic of climate anxiety. Because in your education, you learn that these kinds of fears, these anxieties are irrational. So you just show them how you can move beyond them. If somebody's afraid of heights, you kind of confront them with it piece by piece and show them how to take it away. But what's irrational with the climate crisis is the way we deal with it. And it's not a therapeutic problem. It's, in the past, we believed what we didn't know. And today, we don't want to believe what we know. So this continued cognitive dissonance, this continued pushing away of facts, and maybe allow me a metaphor here. The way we deal with the climate crisis is how waking up in the middle of the night with a full bladder, maybe some of you have experienced this already, you know exactly what you need to do. You also know it's not going to get better by itself. But what do people do? They close their eyes. You turn left and right, say, oh, maybe it's just going to go away. No, 2024 is the year to open your eyes, to do what needs to be done, and that's how we can get back to a good life and good sleep. Mental health issues are skyrocketing, and lots of journalists that I talk to, including lots of climate scientists, are desperate. They say, what still has to happen? What do we have to say? What should we say? Carla Winkelmann, one of the most important researchers about the ice shelf, said, I asked her, Ricarda, how do you deal with this, knowing everything you know? And she said, after thinking for a short moment, she said, we don't have time for desperation. And that's why I'm here for you today.
It does something to the soul. At the COVID Square, you know what a soul is. That's a little joke of mine. And now I have one request of you. Put your phones away. It's going to be recorded. You can look at it later. I meant you. You're taking a photo of the photo where I told you to put your phone away. Would you like me to take a photo of you so you can post it next to it? What I'm getting at is this way in which we're continuously damaging our health by dividing our attention even more. I bought this book years ago at the Free University in Berlin. We're amusing ourselves to death. Who of you has read it? It's so true what the author wrote in 1985, how everything becomes entertainment, how we think that the remote control allows us to switch off all the things we don't like. And that's why it's so important to think about what changes people. Is it facts? How do we tell the story so it's not just one topic amongst many? For that, we need authentic encounters, and that's why I take away phones when I can. I had one authentic encounter in my life. That's Jane Goodall, one of the coolest people I've ever had the pleasure to interview. And I was very nervous. I met her at an award ceremony in Düsseldorf, and she told me how apes greet each other. It's this feeling of being with someone. It's look to your left and to your right and check if the people next to you are armed if they look okay. Because I asked her, what's typical of us humans? Do apes have humor? Yes. Do they have social feelings? Yes. Do you know what sets us apart? We say goodbye. What? Why is that relevant? Well, saying goodbye means that you expect to meet somebody again. You're looking to the future. We humans are probably the only people in this world who can teleport ourselves to the end of our days and ask ourselves, who do I want to have been? What's the legacy I want to leave? What did I spend my time on Earth on? When animals meet, they have lots of meeting rituals, but they have no way of saying goodbye. Dogs that meet each other on the street, you can see it every day. They run around each other. They lick each other's genitals. Maybe you might know those rituals from Oktoberfest or from Carnival. But the difference is in how you say goodbye. And Jane looked at me through her wise and melancholic eyes and asked me, how can it be that we humans keep mentioning that we're the most intelligent species on Earth while destroying our own home? Bam. That was the question that hit me in my heart. I was silent, I swallowed, and thought, just don't say anything. If we're the most intelligent species on the planet, why are we destroying our own home? If we know better, why don't we do better? Or let me ask it a bit more provocatively. Raise your hand if any of you regularly shit in their own home, in their own living room. Not accidentally or due to an acute gastrointestinal infection. But nobody raised their hand. People don't tend to when I ask this. Nobody does it on purpose. We all know how it's done. I can even see some who could afford to, but we don't do it because our home is holy to us. We say, my home is my castle. I don't want to crap in it. I want to enjoy my life with my loved ones. If you teleport to your home, there's a window, a door, and when you open window and doors, we all know this is our home. It's our living room, the only place where humans can live. I studied medicine and was educated to help the individual patient. We need to know that medicine and everything that is worth saving has a planetary dimension. If we don't keep to these planetary boundaries, then that's it. It's over, people. And it's always great to see how beautiful it is and how irrelevant borders become in space. Imagine a CO2 molecule in the atmosphere doesn't care about which country it's from. It displaces air from us, and a virus doesn't care which country it's from. It does what it does. Physics keeps applying even if you stop taking physics lessons in school. Physics says that there are solids, liquids, and gases. We can't throw things away. We can just change them. We can just change them. If you with what irrational reason is there that carbon dioxide isn't being priced in the same way that other garbage is? Why is there no carbon pricing? Our life insurance is this small layer of atmosphere, and our senses need science to understand a larger context. If I look at the sky, I think, oh, there's a lot of space there. It's okay. This is going to disappear somewhere. In the same way that smokers waft away the smoke from their cigarette, but it doesn't go away. It's just been spread. The atmosphere is as thin as the skin on an apple and as vulnerable. Health doesn't start with a tablet or an operation or an MRT. Health starts with the air that we breathe, with the water that we drink, with plants that we eat, with livable temperatures and a peaceful togetherness. All 5 bases of life on Earth are being threatened. Nothing is going to get better on its own, and none of these are going to be solved by the market. Nothing can be taken for granted. And when I understood this, I changed sides. I used to be an artist and stand on stages and entertain people, but you can't fulfill the expectation that 1 in 3 sentences should be funny in this medical emergency, and then I joined Scientists for Future. We were so close to a tipping point, and then the COVID pandemic came. We keep doing the same thing these golfers are doing. I went to university here in Berlin. Research shows that showing people research doesn't work. And that's why I celebrate Don't Look Up. Who of you saw it? It's a great film. We need to change the way we think. In an empty world, you can continue growing indefinitely, but in our world, that doesn't work. It's not that complex. The climate crisis is real. It's dangerous. Can we agree on these 5 points? Or if that's too complicated for you, climate is like beer. Too hot is crap. It's not great when it's too hot. Beer is getting more expensive. Cocoa is getting more expensive. Olive oil is getting more expensive. And suddenly this abstract crisis is coming to our supermarkets, but also in the statistics of illnesses. And Friends of Freedom. There's this great question I read in a book. Freedom used to be being able to travel where you want. But the question we need to ask ourselves is, is there a freedom of staying? Can we actually stay where we are? And not even in the city of the Statue of Liberty, you were able to, you had the liberty to breathe. You had to take out your masks to be able to breathe in the. How free are the people in the global south who are the most affected by this climate crisis? And we need storytelling.
Cases of asthma, the pathologist said in the UK, and last year, after a 7-year long battle, we finally got air pollution on her death certificate. So she's the first person in the world to have air pollution on her death certificate.
This mother fought for her 9-year-old daughter that died by an asthma attack in the inner city of London. The pathologist opened the body and said it looks like she smoked for 20 years, and confirmed she wouldn't have died without the prior damage by polluted air, and changed the death certificate from asthma attack to air pollution. These are the stories we need. Stop delivering all these abstract numbers. Of course, the facts need to be right, but we need the emotional level. We need the emotional impact. The beauty we lose, but also, this is a photo from last year. This is the Rhine River shrunk down to a tiny trickle. We say something is solid as a rock, but the rocks are crumbling because mountains are held together by frozen water. Animals, you think, what has a fly ever done for me? But we're not in the center of nature. We're part of a web of life. And when we lose that, you don't have anything to eat in the morning. Just imagine what depends on insects. It's including the tablecloth. The only thing you still have is honey, because the wild bee is endangered, but the honeybee isn't. When we report on Bavaria, stop talking about Aiwanger and Söder, the politicians. 1.7 million people got up on a Sunday morning to vote for biodiversity. Where do these people occur in the reports that we publish? And why do we have stone gardens? What's the message here? I have a lot of gravel. Great. What's the framing for plant-based food when you can prevent hundreds of thousands of deaths? Eating less meat is not it's not a sacrifice. You're just losing heart attacks. People say, I ride a bike, I don't eat a lot of meat, I never fly, and I only buy what I need. Some would say I'm ecologically aware, but actually I'm just broke. Why is the proper life less expensive than the wrong one? So let's talk about what's important. It's things like health, faith, home, justice, independence, family, children. Who of you has children and likes the children? There's moments, right? But there is an unwritten law that the next generation should be better off. And my generation of boomers is breaking with this. The next generation is going to have it worse, not better. And I met Louisa Neubauer in Glasgow, and I asked, what's the idea behind these old white men? And she said, yeah, it's great. First you destroy everything and you don't help cleaning up. Didn't we learn that in kindergarten? And that's why I'm here today. Fixing the planet is also good business. We need a lot of good money. Germany has 7,000 million euros in private wealth. Where is this money when we try to save biodiversity or invest in CO2 retention? Climate protection is a human right. I celebrate Roda Verheyen, a great lawyer from Hamburg, who fought for a ruling by the German Constitutional Code. Positive example, the ozone hole is closing. Why is it closing? Because these people agreed, and fun fact, nobody remembers who this guy was. And still, we can be thankful every night that we don't have skin cancer, because now the ozone hole is closing. We don't remember his name, and this is only 40 years ago. So I wonder, how should people look back on us in 40 years? What should they be proud of? What should they remember us by when we are dead? So climate protection is a very good thing if people don't want to stay alone, because it's the only thing that can only happen in the community. And that's why we need also health and care workers. That's why the new energies are so important. It's so much nicer to work next to a solar panel than it is to work next to a coal power plant. 42 degrees is where human life ends. If you have a raw egg and you put it in warm water and it gets hard-boiled, the egg doesn't become soft again when you cool the water. It's irreversible. That's a tipping point. A cooked egg is never going to be alive again. Why am I telling you this? Eggs are made from water, proteins, and fat. What is our body made of? The same things. What is our brain made of? Again, the same. There's no way around this. That's what it's about. And that's why I need lots of cool people. Thank you very much for your support also today. We need positive examples. For example, here in Roskilde, they collected phosphate from urine because it's a good fertilizer. We have a great opportunity here. Maybe we can make it happen in Germany as well. We have the European Championship in soccer coming up. And I like to call this... Yeah, so German men are using the public toilets, but just from kind of the wrong side. And people are actually waiting in line for a free spot to piss against the wall here. So if we just put a collector there and we extract phosphate, then we're a little bit closer to cradle to cradle. The most expensive thing we can do today is nothing. Dear colleagues, my foundation is working with a lot of cool people from WDR and Kollektiv. I offer media service for climate and health. You can read this on your own time and share it into the world. It's all publicly available on our website, also about mental health. Finally, last point, hate makes you ugly. I celebrate people that take the opportunity to bring their public standing and weigh in on public opinion. They do that even if it's not easy, and even potatoes have a background, are migrants. We need an awareness that that anger is important and it's right. Lots of people are worried, but there's no reason to turn right after the traffic light coalition. So all the young people that are voting for the first time, take your grandma to the urn. Like the voting urn, but we need every democratic vote, and all of you who are over 50, take your grandchildren. It has to be cool to go vote. It needs to be a family event. We don't need any more tough discussions. We need common sense for the big decisions, because they are European, and our future is either European or none at all. And I don't think we can vote for parties that exclude people with disabilities, with parties that deny human-made climate change. So please share that on all platforms, everywhere you can. We have a century task ahead of us in less than 10 years' time. It's stressful, but the choices will reverberate for hundreds, even thousands of years. I wish I'd have taken the time to see what reverberate means. I'm already going above time, so I'm going to stop with a funny slide to remind us of we're not great at planning, but if you don't do it, think back to Jane Goodall, nobody will. And is there anybody here who's expecting a child? Is anyone who's going to become a parent in the next months? Because then I would have had a gift for you too. 1, 2, 3. You can join me later. It's an intimate question. We're going to be around here for a bit. I brought you something. So we have to talk about time horizons. We keep talking about 2045. That's when we're going to be climate neutral. 2100, we will have this or that scenario. A child that will be born this year will be 21 years old in 2045. It's going very quick. 2100, maybe that kid would also like to be a grandparent. Is that still possible? Can we still give them a positive outlook for that? Can we talk about futures that are possible for grandchildren and humans and animals on this planet? We could have it so much nicer and healthier. These children are already underway. We can all ask ourselves, 2024, what did you know? What possibilities did you have? What choices did you have? And what did you do? And I hope for all of us that we better have really good answers. Thank you very much.